Hey guys, Joe here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast, joined this afternoon by Matt Babcock, Senior NBA Draft Analyst for BasketballNews.com. Matt, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So excited to have you here. We're going to talk some NBA, some NBA draft. But before we get into that, Matt, let's hear about how you got into this industry.
Yeah, I was born into a basketball family. My dad and my two uncles have all worked in the NBA for a long time. My oldest uncle Pete started working in the NBA in the late '70s, so really born into it. Grew up as a player. Ended up walking on at the University of Arizona, and from there I thought I'd get into coaching and coached in Italy for a hot second, and fell into the sports agency business. Worked as a sports agent for 10 years, and the last handful of years I've worked in the media as an NBA draft analyst. So born into it, but kind of seen basketball from a bunch of different angles at this point.
Okay, so I have to hear what it was like coaching in Italy. What was that experience like to you, Matt?
That was great. I was so young. It was one of these deals where I was really lucky to be there. I loved Italy. I love Italian food. I love the culture. It was a long way from home being a 23-year-old kid though, and I was only there for one season, but it was a great experience. And I'm a huge fan of Italy. Ever since.
Do you get back very much?
I usually would go once a year. I haven't been back to Europe since the pandemic. Hopefully, get
Yeah.
back going to Europe this next season.
Italy definitely is a bucket list for me. What a wonderful opportunity you had coaching there. Now, you said sport agent as well?
Yeah, I did that for 10 years. Worked for some big companies. Had my own agency at one point, and really glad I did it. I learned so much about all the different levels of basketball and different perspectives. And it's just a really stressful industry, and I really kind of want to get back to my roots and work more directly in basketball. Whereas as an agent, you're really just kind of managing the players and sort of at arm's length from the game. And so I got out, and I'm back closer to my roots. Scouting players.
Absolutely. What do you enjoy most about scouting these players then, Matt?
I like being able to get to know the players and their families and their inner circle, and learning about their own unique journeys. I mean, it seems like every player has a unique story, and it's been fun to kind of be a part of it. And with my background, I've sort of naturally evolved into being somewhat of a informal advisor to a lot of these players and families too. And so really just helping people tell their story, share their story, and guide them as well.
Absolutely. I'm sure you've got some phenomenal stories about people that have that you've scouted and have come through the league. What do you tell the players that you see such a talent, but their personal life they need to clean things up? Are you giving advice to players like that, Matt?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's to play in the NBA, it's so challenging, and a lot of the guys that I'm evaluating, I start evaluating them when they're sometimes 15, 16 years old, and having talent is a prerequisite to play in the NBA. But it's not a given they're going to make it, and there's so many sacrifices you have to make to succeed at that level. And yeah, no, I share all that stuff. My time as an agent, share examples of guys that made it or didn't make it. And like I said, talent is only one part of the equation.
What do you think the main part of the equation is other than talent?
Yeah, I mean, focus. There's no doubt. I mean, you need to be driven. I mean, and there's so many parts of a player's development. Whether that's taking care of business off the court, not getting in trouble, or taking care of your body, or learning to eat properly, and getting after in the weight room. Obviously, developing on the court, and so there's so many aspects of development for players, and they really just need to focus and tune in to really maximize their talent.
Absolutely. Talking about players that have maximized their talent, we have the NBA Finals going right now. We've got game 6 tomorrow night, Boston versus Golden State. Any thoughts on this game 6 here, Matt?
I mean, I have to imagine Boston's going to be a pretty hectic environment, so not an easy place or scenario for Golden State to win on the road. But yeah, I mean, I mean, just from a fan standpoint, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a fun playoffs altogether, and it's nice to see Golden State kind of bounce back after a few years of sort of battling injuries and all that. And they've got the nice balance of these established veterans with these young players coming up too. It's been pretty neat to watch. And Boston, I mean, Jason Tatum is just such a stud. It's really neat to see how much he's accomplished already. He's only I think 24 years old. And yeah, I mean, I think the league's in good hands. We got some good talent in the league at the moment.
Yeah, unbelievable to think he's only 24 years old, to see where his career is going to go from here, because absolutely phenomenal player. Now, the NBA draft is right around the corner. I know you're excited for this. What are you looking for in this draft?
Yeah, kind of what I was saying before is, what I enjoy about my job the most is really kind of getting to know these players and learn about their journeys. And the NBA draft, it's the final step. We're at the 1 yard line. For all these kids, their dreams become a reality. I'm actually going to the draft this year. We're shooting a pilot for a docuseries, and I'm gonna be with a lot of the players and the parents, and just really looking forward to these kids having a big night and kind of reaping benefits of all the work they've put in the last few years.
So who's coming out of the NBA draft that we should really look for next season? Who do you think is going to be a difference maker?
Yeah, I mean, my first tier of players, there's four guys, not necessarily in this order, but Jabari Smith Jr. from Auburn, Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, Paulo Banchero from Duke, and then Jaden Ivey from Purdue. I'm expecting those guys to be the first four picks in some order, and I think all have a chance of being star level players.
It's going to be fantastic. Any thoughts on where these guys land?
Yeah, I mean, right now I've got them projected in that order. So it'd be our mock draft right now on basketballnews.com. We've got Jabari Smith going to Orlando, Chet Holmgren to Oklahoma City, Paulo Banchero to Houston, and then Jaden Ivey to Sacramento. I do think there could be some trades, though. So, keep an eye out. That could shake up a little bit.
Oh, it's going to be an exciting time for sure, Matt. Now, can you tell us where people can find you on socials, as well as everything that you have going on, so people can follow your content?
Sure. Yeah. Follow me on Twitter at Matt Babcock 11. And then all of our draft content is on basketballnews.com.
That is fantastic, Matt. I want to thank you so much for joining me here on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. It was a pleasure to have you on. All the best in everything, and enjoy the NBA draft.
No, thanks, Joe. Take care.
You too. Thank you.